it let me do everything that I'd wanted to do or had done for my entire career. It merged video, it merged audio, it merged my love of gadgets, like this little computer behind me, which I'll talk about later. It let me do fine woodworking. These are the corner posts for the tea house that I'm building. So the premise of the tea house, and I'll talk about that real quickly, and I'll talk about the elements that go into it, is the tea ceremony is based on Taoism, which is a respect for nature and the earth, the water, the elements, and the earth itself. And I found that had a real resonance with me. And it was from the original Taoist monks in, I'd say, around 800 China, and it migrated to Japan after that. So the current Japanese tea ceremony is from China in the year 800. The monks from Japan had gone over, learned it, and come back and maintained it. China's has changed over the centuries and really isn't the same as it was at that point. It's not as spiritual, and I think a lot of my Chinese friends acknowledge that. It's more about having a nice tea, whereas the Japanese tea ceremony is meant to contemplate an issue. The tea house is made up of three elements. It's made up of the wall, the waiting area where you're waiting to be enlightened, the path, which is the path to enlightenment, and the tea house where you get a tea master who takes many years of training to be able to understand who's coming to see them and to create the message and to create an atmosphere that includes a flower arrangement, art, something that's chosen just for that tea master's audience for that day. And the idea is that you come in, you contemplate the scroll, and you go out to the day leaving your cares behind. That's putting it simply, but that's the general premise of it. I chose to make this a metaphor for the scroll, for leaving your cares behind, to address the issue of fracking. That's why I talked a lot about fracking, I guess. But I wanted to make sure that you understood it and why I did what I'm doing. I am combining both traditional joinery with high technology to do that. So this is based on something called Pennsylvania Clean Water Action's List of the Harmed, which grows about 100 names a week. When I started this in January, it was 800 names. By the time June rolled around, it was 1,000 names, and the list is there at the front. It's probably around 1,500 names now, and what it does is it talks about where the people live, what's the site near them, whether it's a well, a wastewater treatment from the fracking, or storage, what the chemicals they found in their ground or their water or their air is, and what they found in their bloodstreams as the people that are living there. And it also talks about the physical issues. And so I'm using that in two ways, but that's the theme of the tea house, is what do we do about this?